Good for you. Where's the more ideal location? At a professional baseball stadium or where people are playing sports?
Well,
Uh,
people are playing
People playing
sports.
sports. Yeah.
You want to go to where the people are.
Yeah, definitely. So youth, little league, any youth
School events,
flexes.
church events, any type of big festival or family gathering. And with those professional sports, like I don't know if you're talking about like stadiums or major league baseball teams or things like that, but lots of those
Uh-huh.
places have their own concessions already built in.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. But we have gotten invited to a lot of spring training games and things like that out in Arizona. Yeah, just in the food truck world in general, a lot of people have the misconception that you kind of just park up and people will come to you. That's not really how it works. And we made that mistake, at the beginning. It's definitely event based. So
Yes.
you want to make sure you book events, go to where the people
Our gathering.
are
Yeah.
gathering, and
Uh-huh.
that's where you make the money. And corporate caterings, that's also kind of, one of the big things as well.
For when you're parking near events, how important is it to market ahead of time that people know Stadium on Wheels is going to be there as opposed to just showing up?
So a lot of the event coordinators actually will do that for
Yeah.
you. However, the food truck industry is also very big on word of mouth. So
Uh-huh.
once you kind of get known in your community, people are going to know where you're going to be at.
Exactly. And what I was going to say is the beauty of our business is you don't have to spend too much on marketing. We're a mobile billboard just as you drive around. And we hear lots of business or franchisees that spend so much money on marketing to get someone to walk in through the door. But we go to
True.
where people are. It's nice that the marketing spend is pretty minimal compared to other businesses. And because again, word of mouth and just like we're going to where the people are. So
Yeah,
the event coordinator do lots of the marketing for
we've
us.
been driving down the road a few times, and people will call us and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm behind you right now. Can you guys do a graduation party for me next week?" So it's very, yeah, the marketing is all in just kind of our just driving down the road.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, since this is really your first entrepreneurial experience, right?
Mhm.
Because you worked in the corporate world before this, did you guys have any mentors or inspirations that help you in launching of this program?
So this is our first successful, I would say, entrepreneurial
He's had like small little
thing. Yeah,
things.
obviously I've always had that mindset, just to kind of
Mhm.
I want to be my own boss.
Yeah, he had an Etsy page and things like
Just little stuff like that, and just growing up, my dad is like that as well.
I would say your dad is a good mentor because he has his own
He's definitely a
business.
good mentor. He's helped me kind of see how things work, and obviously he's never been in the franchising world or food truck world, but a lot of those same things that he kind of works at also apply to
Yeah.
what we're doing as well. So
And then we also like I would say we look at our competitors. Like we see Kona Ice out there and we're like, okay, what are they doing? How are they becoming successful? So we kind of try to see what other competitors are doing in the market that might work for us as well.
yeah, a lot of research.
Well, your model, of course, it is unique in that there's a strong theme there as opposed to just a food truck, right?
Hmm.
But I would imagine also to be successful in this business, you have to think about for your franchisees, how can they scale, right? Beyond one truck. So share with us a little bit about the scalability of the business and how much does that play a factor for moving forward as you award franchises?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of potential out there. Sports, baseball in general is just such a broad appeal to so many people. So, every city could potentially have a stadium on wheels and be really successful in our eyes. And
I think what also makes us scalable is that we have a pretty simple menu.
mhm,
There's not a ton of inventory to keep track of compared to a brick and mortar. So if they want to own multiple units, you're ordering mainly hot dogs, buns, and
mhm,
pretzels, and just a few items.
yeah.
It's easy to keep those in stock at all times and manage the inventory and go to multiple events at once. I would say.
Yeah, you can do as many events as you want. You could do not if you want a week off, you could have a week off. So a lot of the trucks are owner operated as well. You don't need that many employees. Obviously, if you want to have two or three trucks,
You can hire like a manager.
you can hire a manager to kind of manage, the employees. A lot of the staff, you don't really need anyone that's an expert at anything.
Exactly.
You could
Right.
hire high school kids if you wanted to,
Yeah.
and it's pretty easy concept.
Yeah, and we're not cooking steak or anything. It's just hot dogs.
Yeah, just hot dogs. So it's nothing really
Sure.
too crazy or anything like that.
Well, as we start to look at the franchise opportunity itself, who do you think is the ideal franchisee? Is it somebody who's going to be an owner operator or somebody who's going to be a manager and operating multiple trucks? Give me a sense of what the model you think the ideal model is for you.
Yeah, I mean, we think both. I mean, you could be an owner operator if you really wanted to be more hands-on and get in the trucks and cook and take orders. Or, we've gotten a lot of leads where they say, hey, we just want to get a manager in there. They can kind of take care of things. We're going to be more hands-off with this. So yeah, really both.
If they have the ability to hire like a full staff of people that can just run the truck, I think that works too. And they can just do more of the back end work, respond to emails, booking events, and then they can have a manager doing the physical operational work.
Yeah.
Okay, so ultimately, what made you decide to franchise? Because you could have just expanded, right? Open more trucks yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this model to me is just, it could really explode, with franchising. And I think a lot of people, I'm hoping, also see that potential in it as well. So obviously we really want to grow this into a nationwide brand. And
yeah. What we like about the idea of franchising is it's, independently owned and operated.
Yeah.
Food truck scene is all about being in the community, serving a community, being local. It's very community oriented, the food truck industry. So being a franchisee, yes, you're part of our system, but you're still serving your own local community. We want the people that are working their trucks living and serving their own people in their community.
Mhm.
So it really sounds like the person who's going to thrive in your franchise system as you're launching this is somebody who is really outgoing, right?
Oh,
Somebody
totally.
who's extroverted, out in the community, wants to be part of the events, be talking to people, be the mayor of the city, so to speak, right?
Exactly.
The everyman is kind of like who we see.
People that are like big sports fans that have young kids, the kids that are in little leagues or sports, other youth sports.
Yeah, baseball moms.
I think even military.
Sure.
Yeah, military is also big. We do have a discount for that as well if they are looking at that. But yeah, just
And because our theme is very Americana, I feel like, it kind of plays with the military aspect, very all-American, very prideful, very outgoing. So I think it's great. Everyone loves the Americana theme.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's the investment range to open a franchise?
So a single territory investment would be $154,000 to $285,000.
Yeah.
And then a multi-unit would be $194,000 to $390,000.
Okay. And how big is a territory typically?
It's going to be a population of 250,000 people, and it'll be based on the zip codes.
Great. Great. What do you think so far since you started, launching this franchise? And I realize you're new to franchising. What's been one of the big surprises for you as you started to develop your franchise program? I think it'd be great for the audience of other emerging founders that are starting out to hear what your experience has been so far.
Yeah, so when we started, we wanted to grow organically. I joined a lot of groups that had the people that I would think would be interested in our franchise model. I reached out to them just on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. It's a lot harder than you think it's going to be. Obviously, you get a lot of leads. You get a lot of people that are, oh, okay, yeah, can we set up a call? And when you get on the call with them, they're like, that's out of my budget, or, oh, I'm not ready right now.
Or I gotta find financing.
Yeah.
They just ghost you.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot harder to sell franchisees than you think of, which is why we decided to sign on with Franchise Fast into their carpool program, which is what they work with emerging brands to help us with our development and training and coaching. And they're going to help us with working with brokers and getting leads.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.